I'm Alara, and I'm a computer systems engineer at LBNO. I was formerly an HPC consultant at NERSC, and I'm now working as a software developer for both the Joint Genome Institute and ESS-DIVE. Today, I want to present my work on our ESGF integration. In an effort to expand ESS-DIVE's user base and to unify related datasets between organizations such as NMDC, ESGF, and EMSL, we looked into ways to integrate these organizations into ESS-DIVE's catalog so that users can have access to both ESS-related datasets and datasets of other organizations. To begin our approach, we first had to identify a candidate to experiment with integration. We chose ESGF, shown here alongside ESS-DIVE's portal page, as our first candidate because they are a source of model data which fits with our data model strategy. So with the help of members of ESGF, I gathered requirements such as what the differences in metadata standards are between ESS-DIVE and ESGF, and how datasets are made available to users. With these requirements in mind, I could go on and develop a prototype. Before updating you on my progress, I'd first like to explain how datasets are currently uploaded to ESS-DIVE and ESGF. An important detail to highlight is that ESS-DIVE allows for metadata files to be uploaded in JSON-LD format in addition to EML. JSON-LD is a standard used across many websites to annotate entities in search engines, and thus makes it easy to search for these entities. In our case, these entities are ESS-DIVE metadata. So a user will submit data along with their metadata in EML or JSON-LD format, either of which our API can accept. The data and metadata are then stored away by Metacat. Note here that all the metadata files are stored in the EML format. ESGF users, on the other hand, will only need to upload an XML metadata file that contains customized required fields for ESGF, and these files are also stored away. For our prototype, our aim was to have metadata uploaded to both ESS-DIVE and ESGF, but with the data existing at ESGF and the metadata from ESS-DIVE providing a reference to it via a link. With all of that in mind, I documented the differences in the metadata in our crosswalk, which is a spreadsheet that we maintain to map required and optional metadata fields. I also leveraged EML specification that allows for linked datasets to be specified using a set of attributes that can be added to the metadata. In order to use all of these enhancements together, I modified ESS-DIVE's API to allow for additional fields while keeping the bare minimum fields needed between ESGF and ESS-DIVE. The end result is a view of the linked dataset, which users can use to retrieve remotely linked data. Since we were able to provide a proof of concept for what ESGF integration will look like, we can now move forward with enhancing this implementation and making ESS-DIVE the central location for people to organize data from other projects. Future work will include understanding the differences in metadata standards between other repositories that we want to integrate with, further enhancing ESS-DIVE's API to handle all these differences in metadata standards, and finally to provide ways for these other organizations to harvest our catalog and to download ESS-related datasets. And with that, I'd like to say thank you for listening to my lightning talk, and I'd be happy to take any questions.